It is Dave. It is Duncan.
Dave is living in the land of change.
I don't like change, Duncan. I do not.
That's
like
what happens when you get older. Like, change becomes scary. I embrace it because it's chaos. Embrace the chaos, Dave.
Don't like it.
Ride the
Don't
chaos
like
wave right into the wall.
So, yeah, no idea what we're talking about, but let's just bypass that right now. That was a conversation off air. We are back for another album review. Some things never change. We are back for another album review. And for this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new release from Parisian hardcore band Calcine.
Bonjour.
The band's new album, Love Common Nausea, will be released on June 21st via Church Road Records. Born in 2021 during COVID time, Luke and Lucas recorded a demo, later found a vocalist and bassist, Steph and Arthur. The finalised demo was released in April 2022 and received incredible support amongst the French scene and beyond, allowing the band to play shows and festivals opening for Archangel, Tsunami, Worst Doubt, Rotten Sound, Scowl and Headbussa. The band's
heavy, nasty hardcore bands there.
The band's debut album brings attention to topics such as social oppression, police brutality and racism, racism in the media, SGBV, animal liberation, and the decaying world. Drums were recorded by Arthur Kern, and then mixed by Timothy Frozier, and mastered by Remy Boy.
Remy Boy, yeah.
Remy Boy.
Yeah.
But the E is a 3.
Oh, it's even killer.
Yeah. Okay. So, Calcine. I may have said this before.
But David, that's a hardcore album.
I'm going to say it again. I love French fucking hardcore. I think I should have been born French, to be honest. I think more and more.
Every year we claim a new nationality. Stick with the one you've got. Be proud to be Scottish.
I think it's French. I think I'm going to go with French. It's so my wheelhouse. It's like, oh man, it's ridiculous.
I mean, before you get too ahead of yourself, there's French hardcore and then there's what's going on here, right? So, some big old curveballs here. There was a moment on this, we're going to get to it, but there was a moment very, very early on when something switched up and I may have went, like, just in my shorts, hard. I was like, this is what I need in my life. Why has this never existed before? But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. I'm already ahead of myself. This is
ahead.
This is my jam, Duncan. This is my croissant on jam. This is...
They don't have croissants with jam. And you could never be French.
I see. I would start that trend if I was French.
No,
like,
they would burn you at the stake and then hang croissant. Your withered charcoal body at the top of the Eiffel Tower with the words "traitor."
Fuck your chocolate. Get your jam on there.
No, they actually do like jam on their croissant. I was just waiting.
Yeah, this is everything I love about hardcore. Like, this is the stuff that you'll feel every bone crunching second of. There's no for my friends, for my family cliches here. This goes hard as fuck and takes absolutely no prisoners. There's something about French hardcore that just is so distinguishable. Like, as soon as you hear it, and like there's a lot of new bands out there that have got it, like Worst Out I've spoke about, Headbussa we saw live as well. They have it in spades, and it's all over this release. Like, there is a character in that style of songwriting, in the song design and the production that just exudes that personality, and it's for me it's very difficult not to love it. I must admit.
Cultural. Like let's put it this way. See, when people in this country protest, it's kind of wishy-washy, right? See, when people in America protest, it's like overtly violent, but
Yeah.
kind of wishy-washy. See, with the French protest, the country shuts down. Like, like no planes flying, no trucks driving, no trains moving. Like, the country shuts down. So it does not surprise me that when you think of music of resistance, primarily punk and hardcore, the French are really good at it.
They're passionate. They're passionate.
Very, very passionate. They have something to say.
They do. And that authenticity always comes across in their music. There is not one note here that isn't legit. Everything that's been captured on this album is delivered with intensity and feeling. You can tell they mean every single word that is screamed on this record. I did go back and have a listen to their 2022 demo. It's like 7 tracks. It's 12 minutes long. It's like not a long listen at all. But you can hear even on that kind of representation of the band that they still had like a bit of personality shining through. However, when you jump to Love Common Nausea, it's a different story. This is a band that sound like they've poured themselves into taking their sound to the next level. This is even more visceral than the 2022 demo. There's a lot more detail in the songwriting. That's definitely evident from this album. They've made sure that not only every track goes as hard as concrete, but they try and make sure there's an addictive hook to every track that makes you just want to come back to it instantly. It is like the crack cocaine of albums, this one. But it goes in your ear, not your nose, obviously.
Does crack cocaine go up your nose?
So I've heard, Duncan. So I've heard.
I don't think you're doing that right. I think it goes in your arm, does it not? Or do you not smoke it? You smoke crack cocaine. Fucking you put it in a pipe.
For the most part, this is.
That's why this shit's not been working.
This is it's straight up metallic hardcore. Like there's no kind of frills about that. It's short tracks. They give you like an absolute ton of switches and tempo changes. It's not an album that tries to be something that it's not. It goes for the KO, and it will knock you out cold.
Yep.
But that's not to say that this album doesn't sweeten the pot with some extra little musical flourishes throughout the release. The kind of first half of the album pretty much like just puts you over its knee and leathers your arse, to be honest. It's like the audio equivalent of your dad's slipper, you know what I mean? But I think it was maybe about...
Finally we're getting to the source of the trauma. It's taken years, but what did he do with the slipper?
I think it was track 5. I think it's Target. The band changes gears ever so slightly, and they sprinkle a little bit of something more extreme towards the end of that track. It goes like full pelt blast beats. There's this kind of rapid, almost blackened death metal riff, and the vocals also go a slightly more kind of gutsier in that kind of like 90s kind of death metal tone. Absolutely killer. And just like that little switch was just like, all right, okay, this band have levels. Like there's more here than meets the eye, and those levels continue to appear throughout this album. You get a bit of kind of gloomy melody near the end of Male Violence, which is track 6, and it's a killer bit of kind of contrast, which they cleverly lead into this utterly pummeling riff to close it out. But again, just that kind of small change leaves you kind of thinking about it afterwards. They also go super diverse on track 8, which is basically a French hip-hop track. And it's fucking awesome. And that might sound weird, but the album also opens with a French hip-hop track. So you've got that kind of like tie-in from the beginning early on. That track 8, the French kind of hip-hop track, could have worked as an album closer as well. Like if they decided to go like first and last tracks of the album, that would have worked. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because instead they take you out on a real high with Parasite, which is like 2.5 minutes, and it's razor sharp, like just skull crushing beat downs and vocals that will just could curdle milk. And like vocally is one of the highlights. Like the vocals on this are like nasty. They like my throat was hurting just from listening to this album. You know what I mean? That's the kind of levels I'm talking about. Even the kind of production, you know, the production, the vocals have got a nice kind of like soaked kind of reverb into them, and it just kind of lets them cut through the frequencies of the really harsh guitars and those kind of like really pummeling drums. But overall, I felt like the production just kind of fit this like a glove. You can almost, when you're listening, you can almost feel like the vibrations from the amps on this recording. It's just so like in your face. There's no studio gimmicks here. There's no editing to kind of smooth things over. It's what you hear is what you get, and it sounds exactly how you want it to sound for this genre. I guarantee you, if hardcore is your genre, you'll hit play on this straight away as soon as it's finished. It is so Moorish, like very, very addictive. Every track has a moment where I was just kind of smiling from ear to ear. The riffs are just insanely addictive. I'm probably going to have to go to the SRA after this, after hearing this album. That's Sick Riffs Anonymous, just for those out there who don't know what the SRA is. But it's, yeah, it's an absolute banger of an album. If you like French hardcore, this is just like, it's great. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's completely my wheelhouse though. What about yourself? What did you make of this one from Calcine?
Oh, well, I dare say that, Dave, you bought a wheelhouse for two. I'll just move my stuff in here. That's my toothbrush. Get away from it, you bastard. So, what? I'm going to get a t-shirt that just says, just so you know, I don't read the press statement. I never read the press statement, so I go into them pretty cold. So I didn't know it was Church Road Records. Doesn't surprise me. Church Road's roster is, like, punishingly good at the moment. It's like ridiculous the amount of fucking top quality bands across genres they have kind of grouped on that label. So like right from the off, this opens, you mentioned, with a hip hop track, Attack to Win. Short, it's about a minute. It's kind of got a almost kind of Wu-Tang-ish element to, it's almost like something kind of like 70s Kung Fu inspired running through the background of it. And then it kicks right into the opening track, which is 2311, or 1111. And that track kicked in, and without even fucking know, I was like, that French hardcore, right? So I nailed this one hard. Not only that, I also nailed female vocals. Like, and we checked this off here because I had to ask you before I made a complete tit of myself. And you can tell there's tones where it's usually on the end of a scream or something where you get that kind of breathy tone there. There's something a bit more feminine than the register. Yeah. Punishing as fuck. 2311 was the I was already in with the hip hop. Like, I fucking love this shit, right? But 2311 was genuinely where I let out that orgasm noise. And it was about 40 seconds into it, right? Where you get like, you come out like just this fucking savage in your face, like razor sharp metallic hardcore riff that's just like, it's blistering. And what I love about it is it hits you really, really fast, and then it kind of half times when the drum comes in. I was like, right, that's cool, right, I know when I am, everything's okay. And then it's like 30 seconds of like fast hitting riff, halftime breakdown, Deftones riff, right? Like that's the order, right? And when that Deftones riff kicked in, I was like, what the fuck is going here? And then it kicks in with this halftime like drum thing where the whole band comes in with this huge kind of shoegazy Deftones riff, like late 90s, early 2000s, around the far fucking Deftones riff. And I was like, this is, and the production as well, I was just like, this is fucking incredible. What the fuck's going on? And they don't linger on it either. They kind of play it for a segment, let her do her bit, jump back in with the heavy stuff, never revisit it. And that's kind of what I love about this. There's an urgency to every single track. It's like, if we are going to give you that, and it's a lot of it's done with the guitar, we are going to give you, like, Back to Fight, which is the track that comes after, has a kind of almost kill switchy, engagey sort of guitar like lead bit in it. They give you it for enough time for it to settle in your brain, and then they fucking throw that fucker away and leather to the end of the track. And it's such a good formula. It's such a clever formula because it breaks up every single track, also gives every single track its own sense of identity. Metallic hardcore can get a bit samey. And the tracks that are usually split up are the ones that are, or this is the fast one, right? This is the mid-pace one. Here's the breakdown. Calcine never do that. Like, really, even if you like go back and examine that very first track, like 2311, on that one, just the mix of pace and guitar and the way the vocals come in and even the rhythms the vocalist's using, it is like they've like under 3 minutes of a song. It's like 2:40 or something, and they cram about everything till bursting point that you could do musically into this one track, which you might think, oh, well, you've shown all your secrets, you've given away the game. No, it's scratching the surface. The album continues to find ways to kind of almost circumnavigate your expectations, but at the same time deliver another element which just makes you go, this is really fucking well put together. For a debut album, that's even more shocking.
Yeah.
I'm kind of struggling to get my head around. It's such a ballsy album. You know what I mean? Not just in terms of tone and aggression, but the compositional choices are daring.
Yeah.
Shouldn't all, I mean, they're not throwing in fucking like Spanish fucking like maracas or anything like that. That's not what I mean by daring. I mean that they really go for it. They juxtapose other metal genres hard against it with no real lead into it. It just hits you. And even when they do that a little bit more formulaic, there's a pattern in between. You'll get a verse and then maybe they'll hit it, or they'll do a verse chorus and then they'll hit it. It's still really welcome. And then you get through that first half of the album kind of going, right, well, every track has this big kind of lead bit or a big melody bit. And then the last half of the album is almost as if they're like, no. This is the bit where it just gets heavier. Albums aren't supposed to do that. Like, predominantly bands put the heavy stuff to the front. And then, fuck around on the back end, because who's going to listen to that? It's so well done. The range that they show, the production on this is fucking awesome. It's like authentically 90s, but with that kind of nice rub on it that makes you know that it's been recently recorded. Vocally, you touched on the vocal production. I love it. It sits. It's not right at the front. It sits probably at the level of the guitars, but with the reverb on it, it gives it a lot more presence, a lot more room. Really, really, really well done. Their drummer is a tank. Like, I think, once again, it might be 2311. I think he does, like, even when everything else is going slow, he plays the hi-hat and almost kind of disco sort of thing at a speed that's just no needed. It's, like, really, really, really fast compared to what everything else is doing. And I'm just like, he can't sit still. He's like an animal. This is really fucking good. Like, really, really, really good. Of the hardcore stuff we've heard this year, this is top tier for me. I think it delivers everything it needs to. It's 9 songs. It's 20 minutes in length.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an easy, quick listen to. And Dave's right. You get to the end of this and you're just like that. Spin it again. The hip hop stuff on it is inspired. I love French hip hop. And the way they use it as a kind of false ending, same as you, without looking at my listening device. Let's go generic listening device. I thought when the second hip hop track came in, that was the closer, and I thought we'd moved on to another band. When Parasite kicked in, and as soon as I heard those vocals, I was like, oh, this is the same band. We're still listening to the album. It's fucking great. Church Road once again. Well done for bringing another amazing band to our attention. But to the band themselves, I can't wait to see them live. Hopefully they get out of Paris, start doing some serious touring. It sounds like they're already carving out a bit of a reputation for themselves. This will fucking kill live. Like, this is someone will die when this is played live. So yeah, this is great.
Nice. Final thing: scores for Love Common Nausea by Calcine. Yeah, this is really good. I really enjoyed this, but I love this type of music. I'd like to hear them push those little elements even more, like those little snippets of something more extreme, or throwing in something with a little, there's little touches of that melody in there as well. I'd love to hear them explore more of that. But for a debut, this is very, very good as a starting point. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5 on this one. What are you thinking yourself?
I'm with you on this one. I think Common Love Common Nausea, Common Sense. 4.5, Dave.
I like it. Common Love, Common Nausea is out on June 21st on Church Road Records. Links below at the band, Bandcamp, all that sort of stuff. Have a listen, check out, see what you think. That is the review. Thank you for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.